It is my most heartfelt and unattainable fantasy to travel once in your world as you do, freely and unobtrusively, to step out onto a street and flag down a taxi to take me to the airport, where I would board a flight to New York or London or Florence. Much of this fantasy is spent in making delicious preparations for the journey, in pondering what must accompany me in my luggage and what may be safely left behind. You understand that I would, of course, be traveling in human disguise. If I take too much, dragging it from place to place will be tiresome. On the other hand, if I take too little, I will forever be having to break my journey to pick up things along the way, and that will be even more tiresome. True, I said, just to be agreeable. That's what today is for. We're packing a bag for our journey together. I'm going to throw into this bag some things I won't want to stop and pick up later on. These things will mean little or nothing to you right now. I'll just show them to you briefly and then toss them into the bag. That way you'll recognize them when I take them out later on. Okay. First, some vocabulary. Let's have some names so we don't have to go on talking about the people of your culture and the people of all other cultures. I've used various names with various pupils, but I'm going to try a new pair with you. You're familiar with the expression, take it or leave it? Using them in this sense, do the words takers and leavers have any heavy connotation for you? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, if I call one group takers and the other group leavers, will this sound like I'm setting up one to be good guys and the other to be bad guys? No, they sound pretty neutral to me. Good. So henceforth I'm going to call the people of your culture takers and the people of all other cultures leavers. I hummed a bit. I have a problem with that. Speak. I don't see how you can lump everyone else in the world into one category like that. This is the way it's done in your own culture, except that you use a pair of heavily loaded terms instead of these relatively neutral terms. You call yourselves civilized, and all the rest primitive. You are universally agreed on these terms. I mean that the people of London and Paris and Baghdad and Seoul and Detroit and Buenos Aires and Toronto all know that. Whatever else separates them, they are united in being civilized and distinct from Stone Age peoples scattered all over the world. You consider or recognize that whatever their differences, these Stone Age peoples are likewise united in being primitive. Yes, that's right. Would you be more comfortable if we use these terms civilized and primitive? Yes, I suppose I would be, but only because I'm used to them. Takers and leavers is fine with me. Second, the map. I have it. You don't have to memorize the route. In other words, don't worry if at the end of any day you suddenly realize that you can't remember a word I've said. That doesn't matter. It's the journey itself that's going to change you. Do you see what I mean? I'm not sure. Ishmael thought for a moment. I'll give you a general idea of where we're heading. Then you'll understand. Okay. Mother Culture, whose voice has been in your ear since the day of your birth, has given you an explanation of how things came to be this way. You know it well. Everyone in your culture knows it well. But this explanation wasn't given to you all at once. No one ever sat you down and said, here is how things came to be this way, beginning 10 or 15 billion years ago, right up to the present. Rather, you assembled this explanation like a mosaic, from a million bits of information presented to you in various ways by others who share that explanation. You assembled it from the table talk of your parents, from cartoons you watched on television, from Sunday school lessons, from your textbooks and teachers, from news broadcasts, from movies, novels, sermons, plays, newspapers, and all the rest. Are you with me so far? I think so. This explanation of how things came to be this way is ambient in your culture. Everyone knows it, and everyone accepts it without question. Okay? As we make our journey here, we're going to be re-examining key pieces of that mosaic. We're going to be taking them out of your mosaic and fitting them into an entirely different mosaic. into an entirely different explanation of how things came to be this way. Okay. And when we're finished, you'll have an entirely new perception of the world and of all that's happened here. And it won't matter in the least whether you remember how the perception was assembled. The journey itself is going to change you, so you don't have to worry about memorizing the route we took to accomplish that change. Right, I see what you mean now.